Hey everybody, and welcome to today's review. We're going to cover a game called Starsand Island, which is Xbox Game Pass's newest day one release, or at least one of the newest. There's been about 5 this week, some of them released on the same day. I do cover every single day one Xbox Game Pass release, as it's all part of a series where we're going to look at every single game that Xbox Game Pass releases this year to see if it's actually worth the €360 that it's currently charging for the Ultimate Edition. So let's dive in here with what I thought about Starsand Island. It really gave me Stardew Valley vibes, and that is the thumbnail. That is not just like to get clickbait, because that's obviously a very popular game. It genuinely gave me those kind of vibes. It was really chill, relaxed kind of game. It did actually surprise me because I came in, I looked at this game. This isn't normally the style of game that I would play, and I think that's what's been great about this series. I've played so many games that I would never touch because of this series that I'm creating, and I actually had quite a good time playing it. So we're going to dive in with the good, the bad, and the ugly, as I do for all my reviews. So first off, let's dive in with the good, because I like to start on a positive note, and I also like to start with the graphics, the bugs, and the sound. These are kind of things that I consider bare minimum. You have to get these things right, otherwise your game is fundamentally not even going to have a good start. Like if the game's buggy as fuck, it's very hard to get into a game. So was there bugs? No. Did the graphics match the tone? Absolutely, and that's all I look for. Did the graphics match up to what we're playing? They absolutely do. They have that kind of cutesy anime sort of vibe that this game was going for. The animals were especially cute in this game, and it just kind of matched the theme overall. And again, the sound, the music really fell into that cutesy anime sort of vibe that the game was trying to hit. So thumbs up on all of those things for what the game's trying to do. The actual good parts of the game, the meats of the game, what was good about it? Constant targets. I love that. I hate how many games I play now and it's just drop you in, tell you nothing, and oh, we're a sandbox game, so you don't have to have any targets. That works for certain styles of games like Ark and things, and even Ark has a little direction going on at times. But in this game, I love that it just dropped you in. It was like, you have to do this. These are the exact things you have to do. This is how you do them. Because I just would have been sat around scratching my hole half the time if I didn't know what was actually going on in this game, because there were so many things to craft, so many resources to collect, areas of the map to explore, characters to go meet. So it was really nice that the game was guiding you through all of these steps. I quite liked that, and it was nice to see that from a game, because nowadays gamers, or game developers I should say, just I think get a little lazy and just go, figure it out yourself, feck off. And I feel like it really worked for this game, because this game is relaxed, it is chill. That's what's the beneficial aspect of this game. So making the missions not feel too tedious was also really important, I feel. I really love the building options, like from the furniture to the blueprints to like the types of houses you could build. If you could just genuinely spend hours on this game just building, and I thought that was really cool, because you didn't actually have to play the objectives of the game. You could have literally just sat around building really nice houses, really cool gardens, and just really gone into that aspect of the game. And I thought that was great, because the devs purely put a lot of time into that area of the game. I also really love, because you were constantly traveling the map, finding resources, going to meet characters, collecting quests, they didn't just have you running around all the time. They gave you like multiple different modes of transport, and I really like that. Like you could rollerblade around, you could go on the back of an ostrich, you could go on the back of multiple different animals, you could drive a moped, you could drive a car. They gave you so many options for getting around, and I really enjoyed that, because I was like, there's nothing worse than when a game has you running around all over the place and you just spend half the game just actually getting from place to place and never actually experiencing the gameplay. And I feel like this game did a great job of filling in the time, and it was actually a lot of the animals and a lot of the cars and the mopeds felt really nice to get around with as well. Like it felt great. It didn't feel buggy, it wasn't glitchy. I mean, the first few minutes you're playing with it, it does feel a little high sensitivity on the high on the sensitivity end of things, but overall was a really good experience. And then finally, this isn't really for me, but there was a lot of romance options in this game, or like getting people to like you, and I know a lot of people really love that in video games. It's not something I particularly enjoy, but I think when you're doing reviews, it's really important to remember what other people like and not just to focus on what I enjoy. And so if you are into the romance options, they were definitely here for you. Let's dive in with the bad now that we've covered everything that was enjoyable about the game. So now diving in with the bad, I just spoke positively about romance being in the game. I hated the romance in this game, because a lot of the characters look very childlike, look like teenagers. For me, as a 20-something-year-old man, I felt extremely uncomfortable at times playing this game. In those situations where it was kind of pushing the romance a little bit, I tried to avoid the romance as much as possible, like it was a snake pit. I've watched a lot of anime, and I do end up turning animes off or skipping scenes where there is these weird romances between like older and younger characters, or at least there's like flirting going on or whatever. I just find it really fucking uncomfortable. I know it's a part of the culture, I know it's kind of part of the scene with anime, but it's just something I really don't like about it. And if you don't like it, then you'll just want to avoid this area of the game. I wouldn't say don't play the game, because you can just quite easily avoid the romance, so it's not something that ruins the whole experience, but it did make me feel sort of uncomfortable at times. Following on from that, there was multiple career paths in the game. So I chose to be a rancher, which basically means like I'm raising rabbits, chickens, ducks. As the game goes on, you unlock more of them. And I thought, cool, I'll be a rancher. That'll be my playstyle. If I replay the game ever, I'll go down a different route. Like I'll be a fisherman or I'll be a farmer, whatever. What ended up happening was I only actually spent, so you had a certain amount of time each day. I might have only spent the first hour or two in a day actually ranching, and then the rest of the time I just had nothing to do. So then I started becoming a farmer, then I started becoming a crafter, then I started becoming a fisherman. Ultimately I ended up doing all of the career paths at the same time to fill up the time I had each day, and I felt like that took away from the game a little bit, because for me there's no uniqueness to your character. The next time you hop in you go, oh, I'll start as a crafter, but by day 2 you're already a rancher again. And it just lacked a lot of uniqueness to the gameplay, I felt like, and it destroyed any replayability you could have, because every playthrough would feel the exact same, more or less. And I felt that was quite disappointing, in my opinion. Maybe other people didn't experience that, but for me, like, a lot of the quests were quite simple and basic, and that was fine. It's a chill, relaxed game. I don't want it to feel complicated, but everything was so chill and basic that you could do everything at the same time. And then I ended up feeling like at points I had too much on my plate because I was doing everything at the same time. But if I felt like when I wasn't doing everything at the same time, I had nothing going on. So it was a really weird imbalance in the game at points for me. And I think if they just gave each career a little bit more to do each day, maybe you'd have 1 or 2 careers going. Like I would have been a rancher and a farmer, but I wouldn't have had all 5 or 6 careers going at the same time, which just felt like far too much going on. But also if you weren't doing it, you just had nothing going on in your day for large portions of it. So it was a weird sort of decision, I think. Design decision is what I'm going for there from the developers, to kind of ultimately push you to play all the career paths in one go. And yeah, it's definitely a negative for me. I like replayability in games, especially games that are going to have career paths, and then to just completely lack that just felt kind of stupid to me, in my opinion. Finally, the other aspect that I considered kind of really annoying in the game, or bad, was constant cutscenes. Every time you entered a shop, every time you met a new character, there had to be a cutscene. I don't need a cutscene of me just walking into a shop and being like, hey, I don't need a fucking cutscene of that. Like, it's not interesting. I actually ended up watching all the cutscenes because I'm obviously reviewing the game, so I'm trying to get my opinion. None of the cutscenes added anything to the story. They didn't develop anything. I mean, half of them, again, kind of fell into the weird romantic section where they were kind of like, there'd be a girl and it would be like zooming in on her waist and stuff. And like, I was like, this is a bit weird. This is a bit strange. For me, it was, anyway. As again, these characters look childlike. You put Madison Bear on the screen, it's a little different. I'm like, oh, okay, this is kind of interesting. You put a teenage-looking anime character on the screen, it's not really getting me going, to be honest with you. It's not getting me interested, to say the least. So that was another bad aspect for me, and I actually want to continue on with that into when I go into the ugly section now. So let's dive in with that. Finally, we're diving in with the ugly. For people who don't know, the ugly for me represents what can be changed in the future about a game. So the bad is just fundamentals. I don't see it being changed, even if the game is another 3 years of development. The ugly is stuff that I think can be changed with, fan pushback, and just will generally get changed in the development cycle. So let's start off with the lack of voice acting. I just spoke about the cutscenes. Every 20 cutscenes, there would be one cutscene that was voice acted. It would never be an important cutscene, by the way. It would just be a random cutscene, and it would just be voice acted. There didn't seem to be anything significant about the scene or the moment, and it just was really annoying because it takes you in and out of the game for me. Like, if I have to read every single cutscene and then randomly there's voice acting, it's like, oh, now I don't have to read this one. And I hate that in games. Either have all your scenes voice acted, or a vast majority voice acted, or have none of them voice acted. Don't do this weird, like, oh, we're going to have 10 scenes not voice acted, then we're going to have a scene voice acted, then we're going to have another 10 voice acted, then we're not going to have any voice acted. It just threw me off, because it's like, am I reading the screen? Am I not reading the screen? I don't know. I find inconsistency really annoying in video games, and that was a really inconsistent aspect for me. Next, we have, and I fucking hate this in single player games, timers on crafting resources. Half the time I played this game, not half the time, that's a very harsh statement. A chunk of the time I spent playing this game, I was just sat there looking at like a crafter, waiting for something to finish so I could continue on with the next part of my quest. That's not fun. That's not entertaining. It doesn't need to be in a single player game. It doesn't make sense in Ark and Rust. Yes, because you're at war with other tribes, you're competing with other people, so there needs to be a timer element so you can't just instantly craft things all the time. And there's actually, like, when you lose a lot of resources, it feels significant, or when you lose things you've built, it feels significant because you actually have to spend time waiting for them to build. So that feels significant. In a single player game, it's just taking up the time I could actually be doing something enjoyable, and it's not adding to anything. So I really fucking hate timers on crafting resources in single player games. Doesn't need to be there at all. Maybe small timers, like 1 second for a craft, 2 seconds for a craft. You just really want to have a timer, but even I would argue that's pointless. But when you're waiting like minutes for things, I just hate that shit. The only time it's acceptable is like for the farming took, time, but that's fine. That's farming. That's okay. Crafting, I just don't agree with. I think it's really, really fucking tedious. And then finally, every mechanic was fine, none were innovative. Like, farming felt nice. Crafting felt, well, as I said, not the best, but it felt fine, like, for what it was. Ranching felt fine. Fishing felt fine. And that's, I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, but nothing felt innovative. And maybe that's okay, because the game's vibe really is focused towards being relaxed, having a chill time, and it nails that. If you are looking for a game to sit there, watch a bit of YouTube or Netflix on the side, and just play a video game and have a relaxed experience, very like Stardew Valley. You don't need to be hyper focused, you don't need to be hyper efficient, you don't need to be gaming the system to enjoy it. It really is just a relaxed, fun time. And I genuinely think if you're looking for something for a chill evening and you're liking the style of the game you've seen on the screen here while I've been, talking about this review, then go give this game a go. I think you'll have a nice time. I think it's fun. If you have Game Pass especially, I think the game is €40 on Steam. I'll double check that and I'll put up the price here if I'm wrong. I think it's €40, maybe €35 on Steam. Is it worth that amount of money? I think if it's your style of game, yeah, I think so. I don't think that's an outrageous price for a video game. I mean, it's half what you would expect from a AAA game, and I would say this game, I wouldn't even call this game just indie. I feel like it's a bit bigger than an indie game. Maybe in the modern indie scene it is an indie game, but genuinely, yeah, I think this is a game worth giving a go if you like these kind of experiences, especially if you're into the anime style of game. Like, I'm not really into that style of game, so this game was something I went in with a bit of a pre-negative thought, but ultimately ended up being nicely surprised. But if you're into the anime kind of games, you're going to love this. I think you're going to have a really, really fun time playing this game. The reviews on Steam are very positive as well. It's really got genuinely good feedback. So yeah, worth giving a go if you're into it, especially if you have Game Pass and this is in any way enticing you. You may as well download it. It's not a big download. I think you'll have a really fun time playing this. I also want to say, if this video wasn't, maybe I should have put this earlier into the video, if this video wasn't heavily edited for you or you felt like there was a lack of editing, today is Valentine's Day while I record this. So I just don't have as much time today as I normally would to actually put the effort into the video. So if you've watched this and you appreciate the dedication, please subscribe, please like, please comment. Leave your thoughts. I always love to hear the comments and read them. I think they're great, even if they're fucking negative. I really appreciate everyone for watching. I hope you all have a nice day. If you are watching this on Valentine's Day, I hope you had a nice night out with your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever. If you're by yourself, always next year, I guess. Best of luck, guys, and bye.